Yo, what is up? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. And I am your host, C Money. And in today's episode, we are hitting up another hot spot in South Florida. You know, kind of a history, but we're going to just go for hot spots in South Florida. We are here at the Aventura Mall here in Aventura, Florida, which is in the Miami-Dade County area. For y'all who don't know much about this area, this is one of the 5th largest malls in the United States, according to online research, which I'm surprised because one of the biggest malls I've ever seen so far, you know, one of the malls that's big to me here in South Florida is Sawgrass Mills, and I'm guessing this has to be one of the biggest malls here in South Florida, but it has been said online that it's the 5th biggest mall here in South Florida. Okay, over here, before we get started our mall venture, this is the bus terminal here that was created a few years back to give better transportation move. Years ago, the bus terminal was located near the food court area, but they've changed the food court. They changed the bus terminal. It wasn't really a bus terminal, it was a bus stop. So I guess the of Aventura and the Miami-Dade Department of Transportation and Public Works, which is the Miami-Dade Transit, so they just probably said, hey, let's build a bus terminal here. And at this bus terminal, you have not only Miami-Dade buses, but also Broward County buses as well, and of course an express bus that comes here. But okay, back to what is at hand. This mall, we probably have to do a 2-part episode to this mall. So, okay, this mall opened up, UCC, in 1983. You know, this mall has overgrew a lot of significant changes. This is the Vito Restaurante. I don't know what that is. Over here used to be a Sabaros, which was one of my favorite restaurants, but apparently it got shut down and closed, and now it's a Vito. As you know, Sabaro is one of my favorite restaurants. This is a Mrs. Fields. Over here used to be, oh my God, they closed it. Arcade Zone Entertainment is located at the Treats Food Hall on the 3rd level. This used to be a video arcade level, arcade called Arcade Zone, which we're probably going to revisit. This is JCPenney and a lot of other stores. Jamie Smith. Okay, now a little bit more about this mall. This is a high-end mall. This, as you know, Aventura Florida is the northeastern city of Miami-Dade. I know it is on the northeastern side, the last city before you enter into Broward County on the northeastern side. Now on the beach side, you have Sunny Isles Beach, which is the northeastern side of Miami-Dade. When you Sunny Isles will be the beach side of the Miami. That is the first and the last city, the first city into Miami and the last city when you exit out of Miami going into Broward County. So you have difference now. One thing I can tell you about this, all that it is very, very kind of weird and tricky, to the point to where, you know, you have to know where you're going, you know, because if you don't know where you're going, you pretty much get lost, you know. I know this is one of the most popular malls that attract a lot of tourists here. There are 3 malls, I would say, in Miami that does attract tourists. One would be, of course, here at Aventura Mall. Another one would be Dolphin Mall, because on the weekends they have a express bus service that runs hourly from the Miami International Airport Metro Rail station to Dolphin Mall, which is called the 338 Weekend Express, and it zips you from the airport Metro Rail station to Dolphin Mall via the 836 Expressway. And when they first started the bus route, it was promoted as you have time in between your flights, hop on the bus and go to the mall. And that's basically what they was promoting, the express bus. And it is a success. It runs from 11 a.m. to 7 at night. And almost majority of the times on my way back, now going there, you may not have a lot of passengers because they do take different bus routes at different times. You know, they may take the 11 o'clock bus, which is the first one. They may take the 2 o'clock one. But coming home, the 4, 5, 6, and 7 o'clock buses always have a huge capacity of people. As I'm talking, as you can see, I'm walking around the area showing you different areas. This is Jimmy Choo, Nordstrom. This is Louis Vuitton. So yeah, and another mall I would say would be Lincoln Road, because that's on South Beach, which is another popular mall. You have several other malls. So you have Dayland Mall, which is a popular mall. You have other high-end malls like Bal Harbor Shops, which is, on the beach side and Bal Harbor and Surfside and stuff like that. So, you have other shopping areas, but this is one of the top 3 in my book that is tourist bound, because, you can come here, you can go to a decent restaurant here without having to break the bank, because I know a lot of these stores, back in the 90s, they used to have a game room here, which was across the hall from the food court area. But of course, they got rid of the game room, like I said in my previous videos, how majority of the game rooms was, how you would call it, more of the game rooms was taken away from a lot of the shopping malls and places. So now you have it to where you actually, they're bringing them back, but they're bringing them back in new style and new form. Yeah, we're gonna probably have to do a 2-part of this, because we have to go and we're gonna view the first floor, and then we're gonna also view the second floor. Now, I haven't been to this mall in a while. Most of the times when I'm coming here, I'm usually transferring from another bus at the bus terminal. Like if I'm going on the eastern side of Broward, I'll come here and transfer to another bus that'll take me to the eastern side of Broward. I don't know what beat bar is. There's something new. It's here. Sears was another company that used to be here. Sears closed, of course, years back. So this is something new. Well, they have fish in the water, which is nice, And like most malls, I know you've probably seen TikTok videos where they have people dancing in the malls and stuff like that. And there's been several videos of this mall in here. This mall is actually unique of mine. This was one of the few malls in South Florida. It doesn't exist here no more. There's only one here in South Florida that had a Rainforest Cafe, and it was near the AMC movie theater. And now the Rainforest Cafe no longer exists. The only one that exists now is in the Sawgrass Mills Mall. You go back to my Hotspots in South Florida. When I started doing Hotspots in South Florida many years ago, you'll see that Rainforest Cafe. And to this day, I believe it's still there. It's one of the only places. This here is, I believe, where, if you come over here, this is, I believe, is where the Sears used to be at here. Because there is a second floor and there's there. So I believe this is where the Sears used to be at. And From my understanding, I was told that it was supposed to be expanded to make more shops, but I don't know how is that coming about. So we're going to go there. Now we're going down here. This is on our way to the movie theater, AMC 24. Now AMC, when this mall first opened up, this mall didn't have a movie theater. There was a movie theater further south of here at a place called Loman's Fashion Island. It used to be called Fashion Island 16. Now on my way here, I did pass the location, but the location is now called Town Center Aventura, which we'll probably do an episode in the near future. But they had a movie theater there, because I remember as a young kid with my family, we ended up going to the movie theater there. And eventually, I guess the movie theater eventually closed probably around the time they started putting a movie theater here at Aventura, because why not have a movie theater at one of the premier and one of the high-end malls here that attracts a lot of customers, you know? So, of course, they make their money off here. Here is the Cheesecake Factory right here. Here is Victoria's Secret Pink, Sunglass Hut. Guess what's coming? That's I guess another store. Now I remember, and I'm going to give you a shameful information that really kind of is a shameful information. When I was younger, in my younger days, I did apply for a job at a store called Ann Taylor. Now at the time I didn't know really what was much of the store. I just wanted to get a job at Ann Taylor, which was a clothing, like I believe it's a women's clothing store, and it was somewhere in this area. And I did an interview and everything, but I didn't know much, so I didn't get the job because I never got called back to get hired. But nevertheless, I was young at the time. I was just looking for a job, stuff like that. This is Carrot Express. I've seen that. We did see Carrot Express at the River Landing. Carrot Express, I think most of their dishes are basically with carrots. That's Bloomingdale's over there. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna go upstairs to the second floor right now, and we're gonna come. This is a rechargeable station. Let me see which one is going up, which one is going down. That's going down. So I'm guessing this is going up. So I guess we're gonna have to walk up the stairs. We might not have to do a part 2, but I'm quite sure we're gonna do a part 2 because, of course, we're gonna have to walk around more of the store. Okay. Now we're here on the second floor. We're also gonna go on the outside of the place. This is H&M. This is Macy's. I'm gonna give you we're gonna go on the third floor right quick and then come back down, because there is a third floor, but this third floor, they're like in separate batches of the third floor. CBD Essentials. It's been a minute before I've been in this mall, so a lot of these places I see now here, they doesn't exist. I know Rainforest Cafe was somewhere over here in this area, because here on the third floor here, this is the movie theater. Also, this is H&M right here, and this is the movie theater. So I just wanted to give you overlook of the third floor. I know Rainforest Cafe was somewhere over here. I don't know if it was on the second floor or the third floor up here with the movie theaters, but I know it was somewhere over here. And let's see, that's all. This is something I haven't seen. This is a Five Guys restaurant. This is, okay, interesting, Five Guys restaurant. Well, that makes sense to have a Five Guys here, and I'm quite sure that Five Guys stay open late, because you're right across the hall from the movie theater. And what better else than to have a burger before you go into the movie theater, so you won't have to pay movie theater prices, or leave the movie theater and end up going to Five Guys. Now, let me go see what time the Five Guys actually close, because it actually, I want to see, because you know most of the time this movie theater is inside the mall, so they have it where at a certain time they have to, it says 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. Okay, that makes sense. So you only open to 10 p.m. at night. Okay, so that means you're only open, you know, and most movie theaters, they, you know, they have that Friday and Saturday midnight matinee, whatever you call it, midnight show, where they have, you know, on Fridays and Saturdays they have a movie at midnight, or a late night movie or anything. So, and one thing I haven't noticed, this is not just with this mall, but a lot of malls. A lot of the malls that have movie theaters, remember back in the day, majority of the movie theaters, the game rooms used to be next door to the movie theaters. I remember going to Mall of the Americas, which is now called Midway Crossings. The movie theater was, you know, at the end of the mall, and then next door was the arcade. And I know a lot of the movie theaters have their own arcade rooms, but you know, there was also an arcade next to each movie theater, to where, you know, here the arcade sat across the hall from the food court. So it was like, but that was many moons ago, like in the 90s and probably early 2000s, you know. Oh, here's Ann Taylor right here. At one point, I think it was downstairs, and this is like, y'all don't criticize me and don't pick on me. You know, I was young, and you know, I wanted to work in a, you know, store. I was thinking about being a stock boy for one of the clothing stores, and you know, I was just looking for a job at the time. So, you know, hey, I was going for it. So that's a little bit of info that you have on me. One of my favorite stores, Bath and Body Works, that I like to go in. I'm actually using one of their products as we speak now. It's called Fresh Water, which is something similar to the Ocean Body Wash, and I have it on right now. You know, it's body wash, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, this is the second floor, Dr. Martin's. You know, there are a lot of high-end stores, Steve Madden, Swatch, although, you know, you have a lot of kiosks here. Racer Miami. Over there, like I said, is where the Sears used to be at. They have a massage place over there where you can get a massage. I didn't know that was on the second floor, but I'm guessing they're using the space in front of the old entrance of Sears. So we're gonna come over here. Well, I can pretty much say when you're coming in here, you have to have your money. I would say one of the most expensive shopping centers in South Florida would be Bal Harbour Shops. And if you go to Hotspots in South Florida, you can look at my video I did of Bal Harbour Shops. And this will be one of the second most interesting and most high-end malls, where, you know, the Dolphin Mall to me is one of the nicest and inexpensive malls. They have, most of their stores in Dolphin Malls are outlets. Here, they are not outlets. Here are high-end and stuff like that. So we are going to come over this way. We're going to see what's over here. And if you've been in this mall and if you have any recognition of the mall, this is Macy's, so we don't have to go far. This is Macy's, this is Mac, this is where Macy's is, so we don't have to go far. Like I say, if you don't know your way in this mall, you have to be a frequent visitor of this mall to know your way around this mall. This is something similar to Sawgrass Mills, because you know Sawgrass Mills is the type of mall where you know, you get lost in Southwest Mills, you gonna get lost. So yeah, so let's go over here to this side. Now I remember this area. This is where, right over here, this is where the old arcade used to be at, right over here. And this is another entrance. There's an old arcade right over here, and the food court is over here, where, you know, you ended up, you know, and where the food court is over here is also where you have the used to be the bus stop until they made the bus terminal about a few years ago. So now we're gonna walk over here. First we're gonna go this way, then we're gonna go up. We're gonna go up. Let me make sure. Okay. Now we're gonna. A little bit about this, also about this mall. This attracts not only Miami-Dade County residents, but it also attracts Broward County residents because this is the mall further south. There was a mall in South Broward called Diplomat Mall, which did have Miami-Dade County bus service that did go to the mall. But back in the mid-2000s, the mall did desecrate and it became a shopping center. And eventually a lot of the transportation from Miami-Dade, because there was like 3 bus services that stopped at the mall. Two of them descended from downtown Miami. One of them was a beach route. The other one was, of course, the Biscayne Boulevard route. And one was the east-west route. Here's another Macy's. So we're here. So now we're gonna go down the escalator. And when they did an overall change, not with the Better Bus Network, but about 30 plus years ago or more, they did an overall change of the bus system. They only had one bus that ended up going over there by the old Diplomat Mall, but they ended up making the stop to the Walmart in Holliday Beach, because Diplomat Mall was located in Holliday Beach. So that was that. We're gonna go outside for a second. I'm gonna show you the fun part of this place, which is the Aventura slide tower. I don't think it's open. I think it's closed. The Aventura Mall slide tower. I got the opportunity to ride this once, and it was an experience like no other. But apparently it is closed. Apparently it is, and this is the outside of the mall. This is the Apple store. This is outside of the mall. We're gonna continue. I'm gonna go around. This, I don't know when the slide is open. I actually did a video on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and I did a video of the slide, and it was kind of interesting. Now going up the slide is kind of scary because of the way that the stairs sit, and you're going high, and it is about as high as the 3rd floor of this mall, and it kind of really gets you in the kind of in a paranoid mood. But of course, this is what it is. We're back on the 1st floor now. We're gonna go back up because we're gonna go back up to the food court area, and we're gonna So, oh wow, we're only 24 minutes into the show, and we've actually been around the mall. Like, I mean, literally, it would take you longer if you were stop and shop. But with me, because I'm a fast walker, I can do a lot of these shows and a lot of these malls in less than 30 minutes, you know. And that's because I walk around these malls. And for me, you know, if I was to stop at certain stores and look into the stores or whatever, yeah, it'll probably take you maybe almost an hour, especially in this mall. Now, there's certain malls that it won't take you no more than 30 minutes. You know, I did a thing of Coral Ridge Mall in Fort Lauderdale, and that mall is small where it's less than 30 minutes to get around the mall. So that's basically that. And one thing about this mall, that they do have restaurants in here that is catering to, like, that's not high end. I remember the last time I was here, there was a Chipotle, you know, and it's probably still there. And there was like other restaurants here, and I'm like, oh yeah. So there are, you know, restaurants here that fits your budget. You know, you don't have these restaurants where they got $30 plates and $30 meals. So we're gonna go up here now to this. So now if you want to know more about this mall, you can come check it out for yourself. It's right off of Biscayne Boulevard and near Ives Jerry Road. If you take 95, you get off on Ives Jerry Road and you come out east, and you'll end up finding this mall. Yep, I was right. There's Chipotle. They don't have a big line. I'm surprised. And you have, you know, here you have here a lot of these restaurants here. Doggies, which I've heard of. You know, you have JRK, which is a restaurant that they have in downtown Miami. And they have a lot of other restaurants here as well. Tacoology, I've heard of that. And here is Arcade Zone, one of the premier arcades here. We're gonna take a look inside here. We're probably gonna have to do another episode of to accommodate. Wow, this is a little bit bigger than the other location, because the other location that I showed you downstairs, it's small, and the fact that this is a little bit bigger, it's a lot more better. So wow, this is nice. This is real nice. So yeah, this is Arcade Zone. Okay, so I'm gonna go back out because I want to end this on the note. So okay, this is Aventura Mall. I thank you for watching this. Comment at the bottom of this page. You can also email me, roundtable00@yahoo.com. If you've ever been to this mall and you have memories of this mall, feel free to comment. Feel free to email me. Feel free to let me know. And also, don't forget, you know, come visit the mall here in Aventura, Florida. And you can also, you know, if you have any memories of the mall, if you have anything you would like to share of the mall, I'm trying to find a restaurant. You know, comment, show, you know, let me know. I didn't do a full scale of the mall because, you know, I did the mall in 30 minutes and we didn't go into every nook and cranny of the mall, but you can come into the every nook and cranny of the mall if you want to. So this is the Roundtable Talk. I'm your host, C Money. It's a restroom. I need to go pee and use the restroom. I'm sorry, but I'll see you in the next episode of here. And as always, oh, this is Tacoology Express. They maybe kind of reminds me of the Miami Subs Grill. Okay, so as always, thank you for watching this. Oh, there's a Shake Shack. Oh, I didn't see that. I ate Shake Shack when I was in Atlanta, but I haven't eaten any of them down here. But as always, stay safe, stay fresh, stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next episode of the Roundtable Talk. Take care.